Okay, we've made it to the third exercise in our series. Remember, this is the ergonomics of surfing, this is the ergonomics of paddling. And the right way to work with our shoulders so we don't wear them out in older age is to make sure our paddling form is at its best. We do this by rocking back onto the rib cage. If you can imagine the rib cage, we don't want to be chin down. We don't want to be chest down on the board. We want chin and chest up so that we're higher on the board. We can see further as we're paddling out. We can see above the wave in front of us, but also it gives us maximum stroke. Now we can get our lats involved. And with each stroke, we get much more velocity, much more speed. So this all has to do with those lower thoracic extensors we've been talking about. And rocking back on those lower thoracic extensors, we've come up with a series of exercises that work more like postural muscles and less like peripheral muscles. In other words, we're not counting reps, we're counting breaths. So to recap, the beginner exercise, the easiest of the three, is Ironman. The hands are down by the side, the head and chest are up. We're in a paddling form. We count breaths. Maybe we start with 5, work to 10, eventually we get to 15 or maybe even 20. It's up to you. After you exhaust that and you're counting reps through your breaths, I should say, then you go to your planks and you alleviate that exercise, and now you're working your lower abdominals because they're important in spinning the board when you're sitting. So after you've done a set of those, we went from Ironman to Batman. Now we've got more weight forward on the rib cage. That's harder than Ironman, but you do use the same form. You keep your head and chest up, you're on your belly, you're arching your back, and you're holding that for 5 breaths, 6 breaths, 10 breaths maybe. Work your way up. And then when you need to break, you go right back to your planks. Toes and bows, as we call it, up on the toes, up on the elbows. Count the same number of breaths. In other words, equalize this and build up your core strength as well. Finally, we get to the big one. That's Superman. Superman flies with his arms out in front of him, 2 fists like so. You try doing that. After you've done Ironman, then you've done Batman, and then you go to Superman. And that is the toughest of all. You've thrown 20% of your body weight forward. Each arm is roughly 10% of your body weight. And now you've got that fulcrum holding like that. Again, you count breaths, and you use that as your timekeeper. You use that as your metronome. And you might start this series with 15 breaths of Ironman, then 15 breaths of plank. 10 breaths of Batman, then 10 breaths of plank. And finally, 5 breaths of Superman, 5 breaths of plank. And slowly increase them as so. Whatever you got time for to be down on the floor doing these exercises, these are going to increase the strength and the stamina of your thoracic, especially your lower thoracic extensors. This is going to keep you rocked back on your rib cage, your eyes up. You're going to have maximum stroke with each arm. You're not going to wear out the shoulders. So when you use this with proper board selection, you wind up with the best of all worlds, and you wind up surfing well into later life like yours truly. So I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you can share with us your thoughts and your experiences. Until next time, this is the Global Ergonomist, your buddy Matt, saying, make sure you paddle harder and paddle smarter. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.